What's up, everybody? Clinton Fauché here, and
I'm Albert Chavez.
And this is Front Porch Chronicles, and we have a legendary guy. Look at him. He's tweaking his head like he don't know. Mr. Neiman Gracie in the house today. Thank you so much, brother, for taking time out of your day to coming in. I know you got a fight coming up April 19th in Chicago. Luckily, it won't be so cold during that time. I can't pronounce this guy's name, and I'm not going to mess it up.
You just announced it and put it on Instagram yesterday. Dude, I'm hyped for it. Is it Gochi Yamauchi?
Yeah.
How's the training camp going so far? Have you officially started it?
Yeah, I started a couple weeks ago, and it's been great.
Yeah.
And I can't wait. And it's going to be good because it's a new show. I'm fighting the PFL now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fun, man.
Right. How's the merger gone because it's between Bellator and PFL?
Yeah,
right?
it's really smooth.
Yeah.
They gave us the option. Whoever wants to stay in Bellator could stay there. And whoever wants to go to the PFL can go to the PFL. And I chose to go to the PFL. Like, I've been in Bellator for almost 10 years now, so it's gonna be fun to do something.
Change it up. Yeah, do something new. It's always a good thing to step outside and try something new. Let me ask you, have you stylistically, how do you match up against this guy? Have you I know you are a tape watcher and kind of watch. How do you stylistically match up?
We are both grapplers.
Okay.
He has the most submission wins in Bellator history.
Wow.
Okay.
And I am the second that has the most submission in Bellator, so it should be a pretty fun match, you know?
It'll be fun, but I already know how it's gonna go down. So I already know who's getting the hand raised. So no doubt, no doubt. So let me talk to you. Gracie's one of the most respected names in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community. Iconic. Your father also, Marcio, is a legendary coral belt. So let me ask you, growing up, is it with the name Gracie, is it just automatic you have to train? Like, is it a must have?
Not really. Like, usually everything starts with like a game in the house, you know? They never force you to go to the gym.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But you kind of feel bad not going because everybody's there.
Right.
All your uncles, everybody.
Yeah.
Cousins, yeah.
If you stay home, you're missing it, you know? So everything in the house is a game around jiu-jitsu, so that's pretty fun. And then when you finally have the age to go to the gym, you enjoy being there. They make games at the gym. You can play soccer, do other things. And when you see it, you're already addicted and you can't stop going anymore, you know? They know how to do it.
I tell everybody, everybody's like, oh, we started jiu-jitsu. And I'm like, ooh, good luck. 'Cause it is definitely addictive.
It's true.
It's funny. I do the same thing with my kids.
Yeah.
Like, I want them to train, but like, it's really up to my two daughters are just like, no. They're like, we're going to tap dance and ballet. I'll go with them. Now, my youngest son, that's actually named after Ural. Yeah. He is, it's funny because I train with fighters, and we just talked about RDA and the weight cut and all of that stuff. So I see the ugly side of the game where weight cuts are involved, promotions, all of those things. So I personally don't want him to train. Like, I'm like, bro, you sure you don't want to try soccer or baseball? But he's like addicted to, he watches bare knuckle. He's breaking stuff down. He's wanting to do box at 5. Yeah. And I'm like, bro, you sure you don't want it? He's like, no. So
that's how I started. Watch out, man.
That's what. So I haven't been wanting to sign him up. I actually have to reach out to Fural just because he's named after him. So I that'll be the gym, that he'll train at.
Best gym he can be.
I know, right? Yeah. So I'm super stoked about that, but we'll see. how it goes.
So it seems like a part of your guys' like family culture is to like build that community. It's very loose and stuff like that. So is there a lot of pressure as like a Gracie, like since it's such a huge
not
name?
really, because they make it like for you not to feel the pressure, you know, because I think if it was that pressure, if they put that pressure on you, you would quit, you know. I think a funny story that I heard before was Master Helio Gracie. he had a bunch of sons, and he told his sons before the competition, he said, look, if you win, I'll give you a chocolate. If you lose, I'll give you a lot of money. And the kid like, what the hell?
It's counterintuitive. Yeah.
More money if I lose. So he wants him just to go there and have fun, you know?
Yeah.
And as you're talking about your son too, I think the good part with jiu-jitsu is, I think, is not for you to become a professional fighter.
Yes.
You know, just to become a black belt that will change your life forever, you know, for the good. And I think just being around the sport and being around jiu-jitsu can be so good for you, you know?
I know for me, it's been life altering for me because you learn humbleness.
Yeah.
You learn brother and sisterhood on a deeper connection level. Like when you're choking each other out and trusting somebody not to break your arm in an arm bar, you have a different connection with people. So it's definitely been life changing. Like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and let him start training. It's like you said, though, it's gonna escalate quickly, and I know it. He's already supposed to sign up for boxing classes.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he's wanting to sign up for boxing class. They have it in the place that he goes for summer camp.
Nice.
At the front of it's in here in Santa Ana. The front of it, there's a boxing gym as a part of it. So he was like, hey, do you think I can sign up? And I'm like, bro. Okay.
Do you think you'll let your kids, I know you're in MMA, would you ever let them do something like that?
Like I have
they're
two
young.
daughters.
They're young.
They're very young. I don't want them to be professional fighters, you know. But I definitely want them to be around jiu-jitsu and to be black belts if possible, you know.
Yeah.
My sister, she was the same as your daughters.
Yeah.
Like when we were kids, she didn't want really to train, and as we grow older, she started to love jiu-jitsu, and now she's the second black belt in the Gracie family, you know.
Wow.
So
It's just kicking your butt now. Huh?
yeah, actually, she always did.
Really?
Even when she didn't know anything, she always kicked my butt. You know?
So she's older
Yeah,
sister.
she's
Yeah.
a little older, but it's amazing because she became such a great teacher, and jiu-jitsu has helped her and everybody so much. It's like therapy, you know. Like
It definitely.
I think the best thing when I go to jiu-jitsu is that when I walk in there and I start training, I kind of forget everything that is outside, you know. I can have the biggest problems going around in my life, but that for 1 hour that I'm there training, I kind of forget about everything and I just focus on me and the guy and the techniques. And that takes my mind out of a bad place and puts me on the here and now.
Relax.
Really
yeah,
good.
I know for me, whenever I train, especially when I have somebody in guard, I get so relaxed, and I could have the most traumatic stuff going on, like deaths in the family or whatever. And as I'm training, I'm in guard, I close my eyes. It's almost so relaxing to me to be in there. And people are like, oh, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. You ain't gonna do nothing to me. I'm just, relaxed.
Yeah.
So I know you trained in the legendary Blue Basement at Renzo Gracie's place. How was that training with John Danner and Gordon Ryan and all of those guys? How was that as a young guy coming up? How was that training there?
Oh, it's amazing. You know, I trained there for the most part of my life. I still live in New York for 15 years.
Yeah.
So I trained at Renzo's from purple belt until I got my black belt. And it's an amazing training. You know, we got so much talent in there, like so many good people, that the training is very high level, you know. Even like the regular Joes, the regular guys that go to train there are amazing. So I actually seen once or twice like professional fighters that go there to train and to visit, cry in the bathroom.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
because they don't know.
Man, I thought I knew jiu-jitsu. You know, like, who's the little guy that beat me up?
Exactly.
I said, oh man, he sells pizza here on the shop, but don't worry about it. You know, he's really good.
You know, I always tell people that's another thing jiu-jitsu has taught me, never take anybody for granted, because it doesn't matter where they're from, what they look like, any of that thing. Somebody can always
and size, and that doesn't really matter, you know.
Not even.
It's not like the gym where like everyone just wants to be big, dude. They're hidden strong. Yeah,
crazy, man.
Yeah,
like all the grip strength and stuff like that. Yeah. So I was curious. So you said like you went to New York to train, but you grew up in Brazil. What brought you to America? Jiu-Jitsu? Okay. Shocking.
So I grew up in Rio until I was around 18.
Okay.
And when I was 18, Master Carlos saw me training at Gracie Barra in Rio. And he was looking at me and he said, "Hey, do you have a passport?" Do you have American visa? I said, "Actually, I do." "All right, you want to come to America and stay with us for a while? Like your cousin Kyron is there. So if you want to come over, that would be amazing. You know, you can stay with your cousin there." So I came here in 2007.
Oh, wow.
And I trained the first Gracie Barra here in OC.
Yep.
Used to be in Lake Forest.
Yeah.
And it was really, really nice too, because I got to see the whole development of Gracie Barra here.
From the beginning, yeah.
From the beginning and to what it is right now, you know. And they did such an amazing job that they changed many people's lives for the better, you know. And that's been great to see.
Yeah. And how could you even if you wanted to say no, come to hang out with Kyron.
Yeah.
How could you not come hang? I love that guy. He's
Come to California.
Yeah,
Thank you, California and Kyron. And train.
That's
how can you go wrong with that? So what age did you get your black belt?
I think I was 22 or 23, yeah.
23.
But I got that in New York with him.
Okay.
Because I came here, I stayed with Master Carlos for like 6 months.
Yeah.
Then my father opened his school in Connecticut.
Uh-huh.
Then I moved there. I stayed with my father for like a year. And after that, I went to Hansel's because I need better training. You know?
Yeah.
Because my father's school was really new and he didn't have many students yet.
Yeah.
So I moved to Hansel and I stayed there, and it was amazing. Hansel received me with open arms, like he always do with everyone.
Yeah.
He helped me a lot, like with money wise and everything. So Hansel is the man, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And a killer on the mat.
Oh yeah.
So let me ask you this. We talked about before, my son. What age did you know that you wanted to be a fighter? Bigger than just jiu-jitsu, like with the MMA? Because a lot of people, it's funny because a lot of people have in their mind, like, which it kind of kills me whenever people like train in jiu-jitsu when they're like, oh, it's a fight.
Yeah.
When it's
different.
It is very, very different. Yeah. So at what age did you know, or did you kind of always know that you wanted to be an MMA fighter?
I kind of always knew, you know. And what really gave me more motivation was watching Royce in the first UFCs.
Yeah.
I was like a little kid.
Yeah.
And I remember I used to go to the school with the gi. And every time I got into a fight, I go to the fight with the gi on. You know? So after watching him, my role changed, you know, and I wanted to do that also. And I became such a Royce fan that my mom called him one day. Yeah. And she didn't tell me. And she said, "Hey, Neiman's phone, the phone is ringing. Someone is calling you." Yeah. I was like 8 years old, 9 years old. Like, who the hell calls me? Okay, hello. And then, "Hey, here, this is Royce." I said, "What?" It's like Spider-Man calling. Hey,
heroes.
Hey, Neiman, this is Royce. I heard that you're training hard and keep training. And I'll be in Rio soon and I want to see you. I said,
wow.
That was big. So when he went to Rio a couple months later, he actually went to my house. He picked me up. He took me around. He took me to Maracanã to watch the soccer game. Then he took me to the gym to train, and it was amazing.
Were you starstruck?
That's amazing.
I'm going around the city, Spider-Man. This is amazing, you know? And it was awesome, man.
I think it's hilarious. He said he showed up at fights with the gi on.
Yeah,
so like if you saw him putting on the gi, it was like, okay,
it's time.
It's about to go down.
I remember one time, like my sister got in a fight with a kid that used to live in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
And she got back home all beat up. And I said, "What the hell happened?" "Oh, that kid, he beat me up." I said, "What?" I went to my room and put my and I went outside and I beat the kid up, man.
It's your Spider-Man suit.
Yeah, I know, right? So I wonder, growing up, did people like in Brazil, like were they like, okay, like for instance, when people see my ears, they're usually like, okay, this dude, he trained something. So was it the same with like the Gracie name when they're like, oh, he's a Gracie? Okay, we might not want to mess with him.
You actually get both sides. There's the crazy ones that want to
fight you,
because you're Gracie, and that's the other ones that say no, they don't want to mess with you. You know, so I had problems on both
sides. Both sides, crazy. Okay, so I know you have 2 beautiful children.
Yeah.
You have an amazing wife in Karina. I absolute love her, holding down the fort for you, which I'm sure helps a lot because, like I said, knowing the behind the scenes schedule of fighters. But how do you juggle parenthood with your strenuous schedule of being a fighter? Because I know it can get complex. So how do you kind of dive into that and navigate that?
It's tough, but it's normal at the same time, you know, like it's part of life. So the whole day, when I'm not training, I'm taking care of my kids, you know. So usually I wake up, I give breakfast to my 2 daughters. Then I take them to school. From school, I go and train.
Yeah.
Then I'm training, go back home, have lunch, pick up my daughter from school. Then I hang out with her in the afternoon, and then I go train again. So it's pretty normal and fun because it takes my mind off the pressure of this training and having to perform all the time, and it keeps me in place too. So it's really good. Like they gave me a lot of strength to do what I think if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be still fighting, you know?
No, I agree.
I would have quit already and do something else with my life. I think they give me the strength to keep going forward and keep striving and trying to get better and better and keep fighting, you know?
Yeah, I know whenever, like you said, you have that break, it's funny. I know for me, a lot of people are always like, you got 5 kids. Like, how do you
5 is different.
You gonna get there?
I don't know. I'm a Gracie, but you know.
But Felipe always laugh and tell me about like Master Carlos and the 21 kids story.
Yeah.
And I think there's like over 100 and something great grandkids and great grandkids. So every time like I come in and I, like this last time when I say, hey, I had I got another kid coming, they're like, bro,
you gotta stop.
you're trying to be like Master Carl. I'm like, look, I'm trying. But I know for me, it's similar situation. It pushes me to be better. And there's times when life gets overwhelming. Not just the fighting, but life in general. Yeah, like, you're navigating a lot of different things. And so, having kids, guys that are involved.
Keeps you in check and keeps you working, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't just for me, man. Sometimes when life is crazy, I'll go party.
Exactly.
But no, like my kids keep me in place, and my wife, she believes in me so much that she believes more in me than I do sometimes, and that gives me a lot of strength. Sometimes I'm down, I don't have a good day, and she like, you're the best. I've seen you before. Like she always believes in me.
Yeah, she has such a that's why I said, like, the times that I've hung out with her, she has such a radiant energy about her. She's such a positive vibe about her.
True.
I could see where she would definitely motivate you with the kids to be like, hey,
if it wasn't for her, man, I'll be in Brazil at the beach. I'll be a beach bum in Brazil doing nothing.
She makes you put on that Spider-Man costume.
If it wasn't for her, I would still be at the beach surfing and doing nothing in my life.
Did you guys, I'm not a father yet, so I'm always curious, like, as you guys get older, you said that like when your kids and your wife give you strength, did you notice a switch happen when you guys had kids, especially with your professional career?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, as soon as I saw my kid, the day that she was born, my life changed, that was crazy. I was like, man, this is for real, For the whole time I was seeing my wife getting the belly bigger and everything.
You don't know,
But the moment that I saw the baby, I was like, man, this is real. Like, I gotta do something, so it definitely changes you. But it's a good change, I think,
Yeah.
I can only imagine 5, so.
The struggle gets really especially this week. They all get out of school early this week, so but if it wasn't for them, I was with RD out in Austin for a couple of weeks. And then we flew to Miami for a fight. And so I called them every morning. I FaceTimed them on the way to school. And so that each day they had a countdown. They were like, 10 more days, Dad, till I'm coming home. Oh, they were so stoked about me picking. I didn't get them yesterday. Today is my day to get them. So they don't all the way know that I'm going to pick them up. They kind of know from the calendar, but I'm going to pop up. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah. So. And so obviously you're in full camp right now.
Yeah.
What do you like to do for fun that's like not fighting related, you know?
When I have time.
Yeah, I know.
Big all caps. Right. When I have time,
When I have the time and the weather is good, I like to go to the beach, relax with the kids, you know. And that's one of the reasons I moved here to California, is because I always love the beach, you know. Yeah. So when I have some time, sometimes if the waves are good too, I like to go surfing. Yeah. But it's been pretty busy.
Yeah, especially right now, a lot of movement.
Right now, when I stay home, I like to read a lot. It's also another thing that takes my mind off the regular day-to-day is books. So I love reading, you know.
Yeah, that definitely. Yeah. I never was into reading until...
find a good book.
Yeah. And
the perfect book for you, you know.
And then once I found the perfect book, then now it's like
I like to read like adventures, like philosophy. What do you like?
Both. Yeah. Actually, I like philosophy, but sometimes it gets boring. Right. I like adventures a lot, you know. I like sci-fi, like crazy things that keeps my mind out of it. I just finished the Doom book. You know?
The movie's good. Yeah. You should watch it.
I watch it. Yeah. I finished the second book, and now I'm getting to Lord of the Rings book too. So
Lord of the Rings.
Oh, I love
it, but it's really fun.
Yeah, and I love the Lord of the Rings movies. Yeah. I love them.
It's so good.
All of them are good.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. What advice, if you could rewind time back, what advice would you give your younger self?
Ooh.
Deep one.
Yeah,
these last two questions are going to be pretty deep.
Yeah. It depends how young I was, because I had I flip a switch in my mind when I was around 24.
Yeah.
But before that, I would tell myself to work harder.
Yeah.
You know, because until I was like 23, I didn't work as hard as I should.
Yeah.
And after 24, I would tell myself to don't work so hard. Because when I flip that switch, I start working like a maniac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was good to.
Is that when you met your wife, or what do you think?
No, actually, I met her when I was 15.
Oh, wow.
We've been together since I was 15 years old, you know. But when I turned professional in MMA, I was 23, 24. That's when I started going crazy with training and everything. But I wish I had done that earlier. And I also wish I didn't have trained so hard like I did. I could have enjoyed more the ride, you know, and then that's what I've been trying to do more now, you know.
Yeah.
Enjoy more, not just go crazy, and enjoy the ride is really important.
We had a talk. Me and Dede were talking about the exactly that. A lot of people overtrain because they feel like
they're not enough or something like that.
Well, like it's almost it's almost like an ego type thing, and it's what these things are ingrained in our mind is the more you do, the easier everything is going to be, and that's true to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But your body doesn't work like that. True. And when you overtrain, you get long-term injuries.
Yeah.
You know, when you get cuts, when you get whatever, because you're overtraining, your body's more susceptible to injuries. Once you start getting cuts, that's like the Diaz brothers. You could thump their eye and it busts straight open. So there's so many different things. So that's one of the things I completely agree. People should take a step back and say, hey, I have a schedule and these people are guiding me to what I need to do. The more isn't always better for you. It actually becomes long-term hindrance. So I know fighters don't like to talk about retirement.
Yeah.
Any athlete specifically, but definitely with fighters. I know we've looked at together some gyms and stuff like that. So what, when, and not that your career is anywhere near its ending, but when you do down the line, what is it, is opening the gym and spreading jiu-jitsu what your mission is? What is it that you feel like at this point that would be the next step for you?
Yeah, I don't have a big problem talking about it.
Yeah.
But of course, we got to think about the future,
Yeah.
because we cannot do this forever.
No, yeah.
But definitely, man, definitely I'm going to stick with jiu-jitsu, and I'm going to be opening my own gym, I've been teaching for such a long time. I started teaching when I was 18 years old when I moved here.
Yeah.
And I've been teaching since then,
Yeah.
I only stopped teaching the last couple of years when I moved here to California because I'm only training.
Yeah.
But I'm looking to open my gym around here somewhere, and I think I have a lot to add to the community, So I think me opening a gym, it will be great for myself, but also for many people that will be joining the gym, and I'll be able to change their lives like jiu-jitsu has changed mine, So that'll be a great part of my life too,
I agree. You have this about you. It's funny talking about it, but you have this very calming, like very like, how people say somebody has an old school spirit,
right?
But you have a very old school, like very comforting. So I think that's a good balance to have, because I've seen some professors, it reminds me a lot of Fiorell. Like you have that very calming, like energy. You also have that, like that drive and that to push you, but you do it in a way that is a very calming and like relaxing, where you get the most out of a person without having to do the yelling and all of the like intense, like, which for me, that's it, when it's a yeller or whatever, I just don't really vibe with that. Not that I can't take somebody being intense with me, but I grew up in a very traumatic household. So when people yell and it's all that, I'm like,
you're more nervous than
I can't, like,
you
I'm
can't
like,
learn, you can't perform.
No, and that was what really changed my jiu-jitsu game. I had competed and I had won some events and stuff, but I didn't win worlds. I didn't win Pan Am, all of that stuff until I started training with Fiorell, because he had such a comment like, hey, Ninja, this is what you need to do here. This is what you need to do here. And it makes me want to go that much harder in competitions, not really just for myself. Like when I have lost in the past, I felt more bad because I felt like I let him down, and he would be like, hey, you're not
before too.
You're not letting me down. It is what it is. He was like, I appreciate you even putting yourself out there, because it's hard going to Worlds, Pan Ams, and having all of those people. It gets, pretty intense.
Definitely Furão is a guy that I look forward a lot, and I keep asking him questions all the time about teaching, about schools and everything, because he is definitely a grandmaster in that already, So he's a guy that I look forward like to being like, and he's such a great teacher, but he's also has a great lifestyle too.
Yeah.
That I look forward to have something like that when I stop competing,
Yeah, it's funny because when I tell people that I named my youngest son after him. It's always funny that people immediately shift to his jiu-jitsu. And I'll be brutally honest with you. I didn't name my child after Fiorell because of anything that had anything to do with jiu-jitsu. Now, don't get me wrong. World class at jiu-jitsu. I named my kid after him because of the man that he is. True. The lifestyle that he lives, and not just his working out, not just his the way he eats. All of those things are disciplined. Amazing, but the way he takes care of his family, the way he, his friends,
amazing person.
I mean, who else do you know that rides a bike 5 miles to the gym, cleans up the gym himself? He doesn't, trains with all of these people, does an MMA class after he teaches all the other classes, and then bike rides 5 miles home. Like who does that?
It's true.
Like the
teaches 10 classes and
throughout the day.
Wow.
He's the
Sometimes I feel bad because I'm the professional athlete,
and
I'm like, hey, Ferron, today I did 2 trainings. He said, oh, all right. I did 3, and I run here, and I'm going back with the bike, and I'm doing the sauna. I say, God damn.
Yeah.
All right, Ferron, forget about it.
Yeah,
Let's go
but
train.
you would never hear it. He's the most non-ego. He would never be like, oh, I'm this or oh, I'm that. He's not a name dropper. He's just
part of his lifestyle.
He's the person. I named my kid after him in the hopes that my kid would be somewhat like the man and the person that he is, because he is legendary as a jiu-jitsu guy, but he's also legendary as a human being and just an all-around great guy. So now this last one is what we usually finalize things off. It's kind of deep. So, you're an amazing husband, father, and a fighter. You've accomplished a lot of things throughout your life. You only have 1,000 more things that I know because of the greatness in you that you'll accomplish. But let me ask you, if today was your last day on earth, what is it that you would want people to remember you for or by? That's a deep one.
It's hard, man.
Yeah.
I know. Take a second.
I don't know, like a guy that always followed his dream, I always had the dream to be a fighter, and I had to be, to do a lot to be here today. And I think most important, it's how I always battle my fears, I never been the best in my family. I never been the best around my cousins, Actually, they all used to beat me up a lot, but I always wanted to be where I'm at, and I battle a lot of fears to be here. I still have fears today, and I think that the courageous guy is not the one that doesn't have fear, but is the one that can fight his fears and can dominate the fear, and I think that's who I am. I'm afraid every day when I wake up. I'm afraid of my fight that is coming up, but that won't stop me to going there and giving my best to win, because fear never has stopped me and never will,
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah, that's cool. Like, especially as like a young man, growing where every day there's something new that I'm learning right now. And so it's really powerful, and you can see the genuineness in your response too, because it's like,
and to think your daughters coming up are watching and seeing that example that you're setting for them, and how that is going to only elevate them.
I hope so.
So
I always try to talk a lot about fear with them,
Yeah.
Even little fears, like when we're at the park and my older daughter is afraid to go on the swing.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that with her. Like, why are you afraid? I want to try to make her understand why she's afraid and why she can still do it anyways, and what can happen and what cannot happen. Because I think if you just say, hey, go on the swing, you don't get her to think about why, So I try to make her understand why she's afraid and what can happen if she falls. And like she asked, but what if I fall? I said, you're going to get back up and you're going to try again, And then she does it. So I think that's really important, like to get in the mind of the kids and make them understand why they're doing, So
I think that's
important.
I think that is a huge thing, and it's similar to with me, the same thing I do for my kids. And growing up in different times, we didn't really have, it didn't used to be like that. It was like if your parents said jump, it was how high. You didn't even question.
Things have changed a little bit.
And I think it's important for us to pass those down to our kids so that they can elevate, and it passes down to grandkids and all of that. So, well, we know you got a lot of stuff going on with training. We would be cheering for you April 19th in Chicago. Although I already know what the result's going to be, I have the utmost faith in knowing that you're going to come out victorious.
Awesome.
We are signing off. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. You also tune in on April 19th in Chicago, PFL. It's going down, and you better be cheering for Mr. Neiman Gracie. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you.
You guys.